They say 24 hours in politics is a long time. Well, one could say that 24 hours in football feels like an eternity sometimes. No sooner were we celebrating that five West Ham players were representing their nations in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. We then have to endure the pain of finding out that three of those players may or may not go any further in the tournament because of illness and injury. So, in case you're wondering why five and not four, let's not forget we got Paqueta for Brazil, we got Declan for England, we've got Areola for France, Aguerd for Morocco, and of course, on loan, player to Torino, Nikola Vlasic for Croatia. So, the five players, there are three who are carrying kind of injuries. First of all, in the last game against in the last group game for France against Tunisia, Alphonse Areola was widely expected to finally make his World Cup debut, but he was ruled out with a back injury. It's such a shame for Areola because it's his second World Cup squad that he's been in, and he's yet to make a debut, an appearance in a World Cup game in the finals themselves. So it's a shame for him. However, he was in the squad in the last 16 win over Poland. He was on the bench, so perhaps there aren't any sort of serious concerns. But it was just such a shame for him to have missed out in the final group stage game against Tunisia. And then, of course, the other day we heard that Declan Rice, after pulling off a superb display against Senegal in central holding midfield, he's been ill for the last 3 days. He's missed training for the last 3 days, but we heard he was back again on Thursday, today, if you're watching it on Thursday, which is great. Great news. And it sounds like he's going to be fully fit for the game in the quarterfinals against France this coming Saturday. So we wish him well for that. And then, of course, the third player that may miss or may still miss the next game is Naif Aguerd. And absolutely, if you watched the game between Morocco and Spain, you would have seen an absolutely stunning performance from this central defender. I said in a video the other day, this is probably why David Moyes has hung out and waited to sign the player, because he's been an absolute revelation. But as we also know, in that game on the 84th minute, after a fantastic tackle on Alvaro Morata, he pulled up. Now, we thought initially that it was, oh, God, here we go, another ankle injury, and it wasn't that. And then it looked like it was reported that it was a groin strain, but it wasn't that either. And it now looks like it's a thigh strain. He's had a scan. He had a scan the day after the game. And it's been discovered that it's a thigh injury, something like about a grade 1 injury. So it's not too severe. However, that still could take up to a week for him to recover. And then sometimes, dependent on the severity of the grade 1, it could take up to 3 weeks. Now, look, if he's really out for up to 3 weeks, he might just be back in time for West Ham United in our first game against Arsenal, maybe. But that's, a touch and go. If it's only a slight injury, I wonder what will happen with the Moroccan manager. Will Walid Regragui Will Walid decide to take a risk on Aguerd and play him in the game against Portugal at the weekend? Look, Portugal smashed 6 past Switzerland, so Morocco are going to be thinking, well, we're going to need our best defenders out to sort of succumb the onslaughts. And of course, Aguerd has been just an absolutely fantastic defender for Morocco throughout the whole World Cup. And you can understand, even though as a West Ham fan you don't want to hear it, you can understand why Morocco might want to risk playing him if it's not too severe. Now, of course, that will do. If it does get worse, it will just aggravate the injury. Whereas for Areola, with a slight back injury, nothing too serious. With Declan, it was only illness, and now he's recovered from that. With Aguerd, it's something a little bit more, a bit more than just a slight knock or a bit of an illness. This could actually, if he suffers another a recurrence on that injury, if he does play against Portugal, then it's West Ham that are going to suffer, because he could end up straining that thigh injury even worse and making it a much longer term for him to recover. So all eyes will be on what happens with the team selection for Morocco at the weekend. one thing's for sure: with the 5 West Ham players that we've got in the quarterfinals, only 2 or maybe 3 will go through to the semi-finals. Of course, will it be Vlasic or Paqueta in the game between Croatia and Brazil? For me, I think Brazil are going to have too much for Croatia, and I think Paqueta will go through to the semi-finals. Will Aguerd be able to overcome Portugal's onslaught? Of course, it may not be Ronaldo. It may be other players that, I mean, I can't remember the guy's name that scored a hat trick in his full debut, but I can see why they'd want to play Aguerd. But as a West Ham fan, I wouldn't want him if there's any chance that he's got an injury. You know what? I'm going to stick my neck out. I think it's going to be Morocco that are gonna beat Portugal. I don't know why I'm saying that, because Morocco haven't scored that many goals, but boy oh boy, they're not letting in any either, are they? I think they've only let 1 goal in throughout the whole tournament so far. And then, of course, will it be Declan or Areola? I can't call this one, to be quite honest with you. I want it to be England. Of course, I want it to be England. But France are quite formidable, aren't they? And that's going to be quite an interesting game. It's going to be, I can see that one going to extra time if we can succumb the likes of, the French onslaughts. So it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be interesting. We wish, if any of the West Ham players are playing, we wish they get through and they get through injury free. Let's hope they don't take a chance on Aguerd if he is injured, if he's carrying a slight knock. Looking forward to it. Who's your favorites? Who do you think are going to go through? Overall, I can't call it. I just want England to get through to the next stage, and then we'll worry about what happens in the semi-finals thereafter. Anyway, thanks for watching. Very short, sweet video on the player updates. It's good to see that Declan has overcome his illness. It's good to see Areola is not really seriously injured in any way, but the concern, of course, is Aguerd. If he is injured, will Morocco take the risk of playing him? Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit the like, subscribe, and bell notification to let you know when I'm next on. Leave your comments and I'll respond to those as well later. And for the chap who liked my curtains, they're still there. They ain't going anywhere. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.